Hey, what's up, guys? This is Eero Ettala, and you're listening to the Not Snowboarding podcast. It's my interview coming up.
Dude, I had such a sick POW day. I can't wait to get inside and... Damn it! This happens all the time when I put my board against the wall, hoping that it won't fall. I wish I had something that would hold my board so it didn't always fall over.
Hey, what's up, AJ?
Nate, what are you doing here?
I heard that you were having board storage problems, and I came to give you the solution.
Anything. I'm so clumsy, and this happens to me all the time. I swear I've broken a surfboard like this.
Man, don't stress any longer. Rattle Racks is here to help you.
Actually, it was your surfboard.
Wait, what? My board?
What's Rattle Racks?
Rattle Racks are wall and floor-mounted racks designed to store your snowboards, skateboards, stand-up paddleboards, poles, bikes, and whatever else you can hang on them. But about that surfboard...
Say no more.
I will anyways. Rattle Racks are handcrafted in Colorado with the highest quality materials and come with a lifetime warranty. Prices start for as low as $50.
Shut up and take my money.
Right now, for the Not Snowboarding podcast listeners, Rattle Racks is offering a special deal. Use the discount code TNSP and you'll get free shipping in the United States.
I just bought 3.
Rattle will also throw in a t-shirt while supplies last.
I just tripped 5 people and pushed my way to the front of the line.
Man, AJ, why did you do that? All you had to do was go to rattleracks.com.
Would you just check out that rack? Oh my god, excuse me. I'm just talking about Rattle Racks, baby.
And now a word from Rattle Racks founder, Jeff Stout.
Yeah, we make them all here in Colorado. You know, storage and display racks for pretty much any type of outdoor equipment, skis, snowboards, surfboards, wake. We've got a bike rack, stand-up paddle boards. We're working on a kayak rack right now. But yeah, the goal is to just kind of have racks for pretty much any type of outdoor equipment that anyone could possibly have. And to make them look nice so that they're not just functional, that you're going to put in your garage or your basement, but something that you would consider putting above your couch in your living room as kind of like almost like a piece of, not a piece of art, but kind of, yeah, in a way, kind of a piece of art. The new surfboard rack that we have, that's a freestanding surfboard rack, that one especially is definitely it's a little higher price point, but it's definitely more of a display that you would put like in your entry room or your living room or family room rather than just like throwing it in the garage behind your truck, you know. And that's kind of what we're going for as we grow and come up with new styles and new designs. Is we want to come up with racks that people are going to be comfortable putting in a nice living room and hanging them over like a fireplace or over their living room couch or their TV. The other nice thing too is we offer a lifetime warranty. So if they ever break, just, you know, the customer can just send it back and we'll send them a new one, no questions asked. But we've literally never had that happen. We make every rack out of 9-ply Baltic birch, which is super strong, super durable. They can withstand a ton of weight. Like I can do like push-ups on these, like, you know, like dips on them. They're so strong. We give away, if you buy a rack, you get a free t-shirt, which is we got a cool little logo, I think, that people really dig the t-shirts. And we actually just made some hats that we're giving away, a couple free hats for a limited time. I think we've got a couple left. If you buy a rack, we'll throw a hat in there. Yeah, they're great for, like, if you own a skate shop or a surf shop, they're really good for your store, just to like display your inventory. And we've had a lot of people buy them for trade shows like Surf Expo, SIA, some of those big shows where you need to display a bunch of boards. They're really good for that because they're easy to break down. And like usually if you're going to SIA or Surf Expo, you're traveling across the country. So these things are super easy to, like the lineup surfboard rack, which is one of our newest racks. There's no hardware at all. It fits together like a puzzle. So you can break the thing down. It literally takes like 10 seconds to break it down. Throw it in a box, ship it off to wherever your trade show is, and set it up. You can have it set up in like 10, 20 seconds. The Snow model, it's probably our best seller. It's one of the most versatile racks. It's got a little more spacing between each level as opposed to the skate rack, which accommodates for snowboard bindings and ski bindings. And the arms are a little bit longer on the snow model. So yeah, I mean, it's really good if you've got, like, a lot of families have, the kids snowboard and the parents ski or some sort of combination of that. And it's just a super versatile rack. You can put anything on this. I've got one in my basement that I've got my tele skis, I've got my split board, 3 snowboards on it. I've got my wife's skis. We throw her poles on it. We can hang a bunch of stuff from those bottom hooks. I've got like my helmet, my backcountry backpack, all that stuff hanging off the bottom hooks. Super versatile. Just like our best all around rack. That's RADO racks.com. Rado is in Colorado.
I think we were going on we were supposed to have like a winter holiday from school. It's like a 1-week holiday. And the day before that, I was just like on my little sledding hill with my buddies, and one of my buddies had a snowboard, so I was there like sledding with my older sister, and she had moon boots, so I kind of just borrowed her moon boots and got to try my friend's snowboard and just rode down once at the sledding hill, and and I got so fired up about snowboarding just because of that one little run that the next day when we went to the winter holidays. Me and my sister asked our parents to buy us a snowboard, and since, I guess they were trying to be cheap too because they didn't know if we were going to really like it, so they only bought one snowboard for me and my sister to share. So the first season we kind of kept doing, always if we went skiing or snowboarding, like I would have to like ski half the day and then snowboard half the day. But the end up would always being like when I had to like go to snowboard, I would just go and sit in the cafe because I didn't want to ski anymore.
That was Eero Ettala, and this is episode number 50 of the Not Snowboarding podcast. Today is Thanksgiving Day, which is a day that many of us get together with our families and reflect on how grateful we are for each other. AJ and I are extremely grateful for you. This is our 50th episode in just over 2 years, and it has not been a totally linear path, as many of you know that have been with us from the early days. We genuinely thank you for listening. We thank you for engaging on social media. We thank you for providing us with questions that you'd like to hear the guests discuss. We thank you for sharing the podcast with your friends. And we thank you for your monetary support, which has come in a variety of ways. Supporting our sponsors is huge. It's so cool to me that companies are reaching out to us, some listeners of the podcast, requesting that we work with them on one level or another. Please know that we turn away way more requests than what would probably be in our best interest, and that we only work with companies that we 100% back and use. Anyways, again, thank you for supporting our sponsors. Thank you for your direct donations via the PayPal and Bitcoin links on the website. Thank you so much for clicking through the Amazon banner ad before you're doing shopping on Amazon. The banner ad is located on the support page or at the bottom of the show notes for each episode. This just kicks us a small commission on your purchase, and it's at no cost to you. Please bookmark that link and click through before doing your holiday shopping. So a quick update on Shred Soles. For any new listeners that may not know, Shred Soles is a snowboard and skateboard insole company that I founded and have been sharing our progress with the new skateboarding insole that we were planning to release this month. I won't get deep into the details here, but we've hit a major hurdle and it looks like we won't be launching that new skateboarding model until early next year. Other updates on Shred Soles, the blog post covering the trip that Nick Geeson and I took across country is now up on the website. Definitely check that out if you want to see Nick ripping every skate park that we visited. And the contest for the Brian Iguchi Union Bindings is up on the website as well. Go ahead and enter that if you haven't already. We'll be picking a winner on December 1st. How to describe Eero? He's Finnish. He's someone that chose to carve his own path in snowboarding, pardon the pun. And he did so by, instead of continuing to film with film crews, he branched out on his own projects, such as his TV show Tracking Eero and his web series Cooking with Gas. From our discussion with Eero, I can tell that he's calculated, organized, and a planner. The process that he describes going through for each trick at a street spot was very eye-opening to me. And I don't want to ruin it, but I'll just say that he does not pull up to a spot, shovel some snow, and decide what to do. Eero tells us about cycling 100 miles a day for 7 days in a row. He updates us on the state of his knee injuries, shares his favorite junk food. You'll be proud of both AJ and me. We had a whole conversation about food and didn't say the word vegan once. We also get into why Eero's backing the preferred swimming attire of the European Union. Let's get into the conversation with Eero Ettala.
Yo, Eero.
How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm all good. I'm a little bit tired. I just came from Munich today. I was there for the Travis Rises movie premiere and little Oktoberfest.
How many times did you say to somebody while you were there, "Ein grosses Bier bitte"?
No, maybe maybe 10 times. Yeah.
Were you in a specific tent, or what part of Oktoberfest were you at?
Yeah, we went to what was the tent called again? Yeah, we went to one of the tents just for like a couple hours, and I had two of those 1 liter beers, and that was already kind of plenty. And then I just went to rest for an hour before the premiere, and then I had some more beers at the premiere. But it was semi-chill, it was Sunday, so it's not like people really sending it.
Oh, okay. I've heard that the girls that bring the beers, they'll carry like a ton of those beers, right? Like 5 in each hand or something, the really good ones.
Yeah, that's 10. Fucking crazy.
Yeah, I've heard that they just work really hard through Oktoberfest, and that's like their money for the year.
Really?
Yeah, they get just like crazy long days and make really good tips, and that's it.
That's a dream job. Just work for 3 weeks.
Did you notice that the beer is like, and it might be this case where you live in Finland, that it's not an issue, but the beers over here give me hangovers much easier than the German beers. Just seem so fresh and pure.
I don't know. I definitely felt a hangover this morning. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it seems like in the US the beer is a lot lighter. Right. Usually, it's a bit more watery, which is kind of a good thing, I think, for hangover. Maybe, I don't know.
So you've been riding a bike a good bit this summer. Could you tell us about your bike ride to? Was it to Paris?
Yeah. It was for this charity cycling event. We were raising money and awareness for kids suffering for cancer, and so we did this. There was like 90 cyclists from Finland doing it. So we took a boat from Helsinki to Travemünde, Germany, and then we cycled from there to Paris over a 7-day period. So it was 1,200 kilometers in 7 days.
And I know
it ended up being like 170 kilometers a day.
Do you have any idea what that is miles wise, or do we just need to do the math offline here?
What do you mean?
Right,
kilometers to miles.
Oh, yeah, it's like 100 miles a day, a little bit more than 100.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a century a day. That's heavy.
That's gnarly.
Yeah, it's kind of like definitely my ass was kind of sore after the first couple of days. But we trained a lot. Like I started training maybe like 3 months before the trip, so it's like I was pretty well prepared and everything was organized really well. It's kind of like when we're actually on the road cycling, it's like every 1 hour we like stop for pee break, and then every 2 hours we like stop for like a little snack break for like 15 minutes or half an hour, and then we just keep on going. So we end up eating like maybe 3 times during the day when we're cycling. It's always like maybe 10 hours cycling per day.
Did you lose anybody out of all the people that were on it?
No, it's just kind of like it's there's also this kind of like safety car driving with us, if someone gets hurt or whatever, they can always hop in the car and like skip one of the days or whatever, so some of the weaker ones were chilling in the bus sometimes.
Did you have
it's like fucking one of the mornings was pretty crazy. It was like pouring rain. I think it was like plus 40 degrees Celsius, and it was definitely not that fun to go cycling. So some of the ladies were rather chilling in the car than cycling. But I feel like once you go on a trip like that, you kind of just like, no matter what, I'm definitely going to try to cycle every kilometer possible,
Yeah.
Have you been cycling for a long time? Is that?
Well, I really started like road cycling 2 years ago, just because of this project, so I've done this project like 2 years in a row now. And one of my buddies who actually invited me to do it, he's doing it like next year again for a third year, but I'm kind of like, I'm kind of done with it. It's super fun, but it kind of gets boring too when it's all kind of the same route every year, and you kind of see like the same sights, everything kind of looks the same. It's like doesn't really have that much excitement anymore to do it again. I'm still gonna keep on cycling because like it's such a good like exercise for my knees, just doing something that's kind of aerobic instead of just like skating or whatever, like jumping down stuff. So actually like swimming or cycling, those are the best things to do for my knees.
Yeah, super low impact.
There's not a lot of impact.
Did you have any issues like a flat or bent wheels, broken equipment, anything like that?
No, it's been weird. Like I've cycled for 2 years now and haven't had even one flat tire yet.
Oh shit, man!
Which is crazy.
I'm not superstitious, but you better knock on some wood.
Yeah, exactly. It's because even last summer I cycled 5,000 kilometers all combined, the whole summer, and then this summer it's been maybe like 4,000 kilometers, so it's quite a lot of miles, and still no flat tire, so I've been pretty lucky, I guess.
That's rad.
Have you thought about getting into freestyle road biking? So you catch some pretty rad air.
I don't know. It probably would be pretty fun. I just feel like, like all these sports are pretty expensive. You kind of have to like figure out if you really want to get into it or not. Yeah. So for this whole road cycling thing was pretty good because I knew I was training for like this like specific cause or whatever. So for this trip, and I figured if I wasn't gonna like it after the trip, I could just sell the bike and start doing something else instead. But I'm kind of really like cycling. It's pretty good for the brain, just being outside and then cycling for a couple hours.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it seems like one of those things to me, like the costs. I mean, I know those bikes are super expensive, but it's almost like, the benefit of doing it outweighs any sort of cost.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's like the better bicycle you have, like more time you're willing to spend on it, so it's kind of like you're just investing in yourself, kind of,
Yeah, I mean, that's, if I spend a bunch of money on something, like, well, I got to use it, spend all this money.
Exactly.
Almost motivating. I mean, that you're kind of known for being thrifty like that. Do you not like buy just like toys on impulse or whatever and just be like, yeah, I don't know, it just sits there. It's like, nah, I got to fucking use this.
Yeah. I never buy anything if I don't really need it. I always like really speculate super long, and like really put like thoughts behind it. If I really need something, if I do it, then I go buy it and use it a lot, I guess. But I usually don't buy useless crap.
Where do you get that mindset? Money, I guess. Where do you get that mindset from?
It has to be from my parents, I guess. I remember being a kid. It's like, let's say my mom was like buying soda or something from a store. Like if there's like two stores, like whatever, like nearby. If the soda was cheaper on the other store, she would go and buy some other stuff from the other store and then just go buy the soda from the other store. So like she's a cheap ass, so she probably poisoned my brain too.
It's funny how that works because my parents were thrifty like that as well. But as an adult, I felt like, oh, now I don't have to do that anymore. So for many years, I did the opposite. Like, oh, I don't want to worry about getting the best price. I just want it now. So it can work both ways, I guess, but I've kind of come full circle recently, and I'd really, like you said, am evaluating, do I even need this thing that I'm looking at?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like just, like you have so much crap anyways, I just don't want or need more stuff unless it's something like it's really going to make my life easier or better for some reason. I'm trying to buy as little as possible, I guess.
I love it. So trying something a little bit different here. I just sent over, if you can find in the chat box. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to find in Skype, but a picture. Yep. I don't know if you can see the picture.
Oh, let me see. What's the picture? Where would it be?
So my Skype interface, there's a picture of AJ, and then there's the E for you, and I kind of had to scroll over it, and it gave me the option for a little chat bubble. And if you click on the chat bubble, it should pop up.
Yeah, I guess. See it? Yeah, okay, yeah. I see this. Oh, what is this? Simple Pleasures or something?
Yeah, what does that mean to you? I dug deep in my VHS collection.
Oh, yeah, that's it's still my favorite. Haircuts. Yeah. Is that a VHS?
Yeah, oh yeah. It had it opened up like a book. My copy anyways.
Oh, sick. Yeah. That was the first snowboard movie I ever got from my parents for Christmas. And yeah, it definitely like lit the spark when I saw this movie. I was like, fuck, I want to be like one of these guys, and I want to film movies. Yeah, it was definitely crazy. Just watching all those MacDuck movies when I was growing up, and then suddenly, like a few years later, I was filming with MacDuck too. So it's pretty insane. And that movie is a classic. I remember, yeah, Peter Lyon's part, of course, and all the back rodeos and stuff. Trying to learn every trick in the book when I saw these movies. Definitely crazy movie. Good times. It's still like if I want to get amped to go snowboarding, I think this is still one of the movies that gets me the most hyped.
Oh, wow. Do you have a digital copy?
Yeah, I do have a DVD. Yeah, it's pretty sick. I got the whole fucking DVD box collection from MacDuck when we were filming with him. He's like even older ones, but this is kind of the one. My precious.
My precious.
Yeah.
It's so funny. So I heard another story, and I think it was in the Ender documentary about how you got into snowboarding. Could you maybe share that, kind of how your family divvied up the snowboard?
Yeah, it's I think we were going on like we were supposed to have like a winter holiday from school. It's like a 1 week holiday. And the day before that, I was just like on my little sledding hill with my buddies, and one of my buddies had a snowboard. So I was there like sledding with my older sister, and she had moon boots. So I kind of just borrowed her moon boots and got to try my friend's snowboard and just rode down once at the sledding hill. And yeah, and I got so fired up about snowboarding just because of that one little run, that the next day when we went to the winter holidays, me and my sister asked our parents to buy us a snowboard. And since, like, I guess they were trying to be cheap too, because they didn't know if we were going to really like it. So they only bought one snowboard for me and my sister to share. So the first season we kind of kept doing, always if we went skiing or snowboarding, like I would have to like ski half the day and then snowboard half the day. But the end, I would always being like, when I had to like go to snowboard, I would just go and sit in the cafe because I didn't want to ski anymore. So that happened that first winter. And then the next winter, I was just like really, I guess, crying to my mom and dad that I really needed and wanted my own snowboard. And then that happened. And then everything kind of started. I got my first season pass to a local hill nearby. And then my dad just started taking me there. And that's where I met Ika and Eero Ettala and all these Lauri Heiskari and all these other Finnish rippers that I started riding with. And then it was kind of funny to see we were like maybe like 15 guys riding together, and 10 of them like made it pretty big globally.
Yeah.
Got sponsored and stuff, so that was a good time.
Did your parents give you the snowboard that you were splitting with your sister, or did you get a new one?
No, actually my sister got the old one, and then they just bought me a new one. Like it was a K2 something. I was super hyped on that. Yeah. My parents always were super supportive on especially if we wanted to do like something like whatever, athletic or sports or something. They always wanted us to try, like I was playing ice hockey and soccer and baseball, floorball, all kinds of stuff, and gymnastics and that kind of stuff. I kind of tried everything I wanted. And then snowboarding and skateboarding were finally the things that I kind of like fell in love with, and just like really kept doing it, As soon as I found skateboarding and snowboarding, I just quit everything else kind of.
Was your family like an athletic family? Was that something? Were they pretty active?
Yeah, they're pretty active, but it's more like traditional sports. It's like they like cross country skiing and just walking and that kind of stuff. But they were always like super hyped to take us to places, like to whatever, like running tracks and just doing like we're always like active doing stuff, and then they wanted to have, I guess, a good and healthy life for the kids, so they would always take us to like winter holidays to go skiing in Sweden or something when I was younger and all this kind of stuff. And then in the summers, my dad would, like when I was already like super hyped on snowboarding, he would take me to Norway in the summer to the glaciers to go snowboard. And he would like bring a couple of friends of mine with us. Wow. And then even over the weekends, he would drive me like 10 hours up north of Finland for a half pipe contest and then just stay there with me for 2 days and then drive back and go back to work. Like over the week again, then next week, and just go somewhere else with me, So they were always like super supportive.
Wow, that's
wow,
rad.
that's so rad. Is that? I mean, so they never felt like snowboarding and skating, like, didn't have any reservations about it. They didn't think it was, oh, this is whatever. It's like punks do this or something.
No, I don't think so. I don't. Yeah, maybe behind the curtains they were talking something like that, but they always kind of just told me like, like they told me that I could do whatever I wanted as soon as I just finished school, and then I finished my school, and that's was already by the time when I was filming for MacDog, anyways, and so I was like doing financially okay, like moved out of my parents, and so I guess I don't think they ever thought about it, snowboarding would become a job or anything. They were just stoked that I actually had something that I really enjoyed, and I had friends to do it with, because I feel like a bunch of the people that I met through snowboarding are like some of my best friends, I think. So it kind of like also has formed me and then defined me as a person who I am today. Is because snowboarding, I guess.
So you've got your K2 and you're meeting up with all your friends and snowboarding, and everybody's progressing, and you've said this, that you weren't the best, but that you worked hard. Could you maybe just take us through, I guess maybe it came from your parents, I don't know, but where that hard work mindset came from?
Yeah, I don't know. I think, I'm definitely some sort of a competitive person, and then always when I was riding with, like other guys like Ika and Eero and all these other dudes, I could always tell, that those guys were definitely better than I was, so that kind of always just lit the spark on me, just like, fuck, I need to train more to be at the same level at least, And I remember there was just like this one season when like things clicked and I started learning new stuff. Because when I was like younger, I would always just spin backside and, like always have the same grabs and stuff, and then one of the seasons I just started learning like spinning frontside and switch backside and cap spins and everything, I just feel like it was that one season when everything changed, and I started riding a little bit more, I guess, not technical, but just like maybe like trying to learn more stuff than just being that one guy that could only spin one way.
Mm. Did you have any one friend that you were particularly competitive with?
Yeah, I think that would have been Ika, because we were the same age and then kind of from the same area. We would always ride together, and he got sponsored a little bit before me, and I guess I was kind of jealous about that too, But it's like, I guess when you're a kid and you're competitive, it's like it's always like that, You feel like if someone gets something, you think it's out of your own pocket, even if it's not the case anymore. I'm super hyped for him, of course. But, when you're a kid, you just feel like, fuck, why are these guys getting all this stuff and why they're doing so good and why I'm not getting anything, But I mean, it worked out for the best for everybody, So I'm definitely hyped for all my friends that they did well.
Yeah. Everybody,
but it's and it sucks to like realize that and notice that when you're a kid, that you're jealous at people when they make it, When you get older, you get a little bit wiser and start understanding stuff, It's like, so I'm stoked.
Yeah, I mean that's probably a feeling we all go through. I mean,
yeah,
when it's a maturity thing, and then you kind of like see the bigger picture when you get older. Like, oh, this is cool that we all kind of come up together, and
exactly.
Yeah, it was funny. So we had a couple, actually a lot of like user questions, but someone asked, Chris Markhammer asked, who would win in a game of skate between you and Ika?
That's a tough one. Yeah, I've played skate with Ika a long time ago, and I think that time I won him, but we kind of have a different kind of back of tricks, it just depends on the day. And I haven't been skating that much flat or whatever, like even park skating that much anymore. I'm only skating transition because of my knees, so I think Ika would probably take me down these days. But if Ika, he's a really good street skater.
If you played on a mini ramp, you think you'd be able to take him?
Yeah, I think on a mini ramp probably, yeah. Because I just skate way more transition than Ika does. And maybe a little bit more consistent on the tricks. But Ika, he's a really good street skater. He has a good pop and a good style and good back of tricks. I think in a skate contest, he would probably kick my ass these days.
What's a flat ground flip trick that you just can't do, that you're just like over even trying?
Fuck it. Like I hate frontside flips for some reason. I can do them, but it's just has to be that perfect day and the perfect skateboard and perfect shoes, that you actually get in a lock. I hate that trick, and that's a trick that Ika has in lock. So it sucks to play against him because that's one of the first tricks that he always does anyways. And you're like, fuck, I hate this game. And even heel flips are pretty shitty too. Like I can do them, but they're like, I'm always scared I'm gonna just like credit card on the skateboard, get the board in my ass.
Do your frontside flips go like in between your legs and then you turn, or is it more like out and then you catch it and turn? Or you just take them any way you can get them?
I'll just take them any way I can get them. But it's more of a just like a kickflip 180. It's not like a hard flip, It's right. Not really between the legs. It's more like it's a legit kickflip 180.
Like illusion flip or whatever. Like Muska flip. Was that what they?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's yeah. I used to do them like switch frontside flips like that, but it's so ugly, so I just gave up. I like, fuck, I don't want to do this anymore. I used to be like switch hard flips, and that stuff was always way easier for me than doing regular for some reason.
I've always strived for the Reynolds flip, like where it just comes up and like the bolts have magnets in them and they're attracted to your feet, and you catch it 90 and hold it for a second and then turn it. I think I've done maybe one or two in my life that I was like, yeah, Reynolds would be proud of that.
Yeah.
Usually I totally miss.
And that Ika kind of has a similar kind of frontside flip. He's just amazing.
Yo, since we're talking about skating, what's up with your boy? I'm going to struggle with his name, but Yakka Ojanen? How do you say his name?
Yeah, Yakko Ojanen.
Yakko. That is like some of his clips, I think I saw on like Metro or like Skateline or whatever. But like the backside flip, switch 50-50, and like the 50-50 shove it 50-50.
Yeah.
That like, is he skate at your home park? Like, how do you know that guy?
Oh, he's from Tampere. It's a city close by to Helsinki. It's like 2 hours away. But how I actually got to meet Yakka was I had seen him skating, and I had this opportunity from Red Bull. It was called like Under My Wing program, so I got to pick one athlete. It didn't have to be like specifically a skateboarder or snowboarder, but I could pick one athlete to bring on Red Bull. So I picked Yakko because I thought he was so insane at skating. It's like there's only few Finnish skaters that actually I feel like have the skills to actually make it globally, and then Yakko was one of them. So I kind of hooked him up with Red Bull, and now he's been on Red Bull since maybe like for 4 years now, and now he's skating for Element and DC and finally getting some recognition. He had some problems with his back. He had a slip disc in his back and had a back surgery 1 year ago. So now he's like feeling way better, but he just skates insane. Yeah, he's a crazy dude.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's rad you put him on like that.
Yeah. I was stoked to help him out, and I could definitely see like he has so much potential, So hopefully like all the pieces will go together for him, and he's gonna make it big. He's still super young. He's like, I think 21 or 22, 21 maybe.
Oh, sick. Yeah, he's got time. Is that important for you to like reach out to people like that you see that are good at what they do and try to help them out?
Yeah, definitely. I've always tried to help people. It's like like snowboard homies and stuff. I've definitely like hooked them up with some sponsors and done some phone calls or whatever to help people out. And I think it's not so easy these days just to like, no one's going to come to Finland and grab you and take you somewhere, so I feel like if I can help anyone, I'll definitely try my best. Cause like, when I was younger, like if someone would have helped me out as they did, it's such a huge help, so I might as well, kind of like, yeah. I think helping is always a good thing. It definitely makes me feel good if I can help someone and I can see that they're actually achieving their goals and doing better.
It's good karma. When you were younger and your friends were getting sponsored, how did it first happen for you as far as sponsorship?
I think I was in the junior worlds in France. I think this must have been like 99. or something. That's where I met the Oakley team manager, and he hooked me up with some goggles and an email address, so we started like sharing emails, and I got a contract a year after or something. And then one of my former, he used to be like a pro snowboarder for Burton and Nitro, and then he started shooting photos. So he kind of invited me to this like Nitro summer camp. Even I was riding for a Lion at the time, and then I went to the summer camp, and that's where I got the contract with Nitro, and that was year 2000, I think, or 2001.
That's been an amazing.
Maybe, yeah, I think
that's like a historically. That's like a historically long relationship with Nitro. What do you attribute that to?
Yeah, Nitro is just it's an insane company. It's like such a from the outside perspective, I guess Nitro seems pretty big, but actually it's sort of a small company, and I know everybody. I know the founders, and I know the TMs, of course, super well, and just like a really good family feeling. It's not like the way I look at Burton or something. It's like I feel like how Burton works. It's like if you're the rider on the team and you end up having like a 1 or 2 bad seasons, it's most likely going to get kicked out. But I think Nitro is more of a loyal company to their riders. It's just like it's a pretty risky sport, and there's a high chance you're going to get injured. And they definitely stay loyal to you and don't kick you out of the team.
At the risk of offending my friends at Burton, I would even say even if you have a good season, you might get kicked out.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it felt like. Like one of my best buddies, Heikki, when he got clipped from Burton, I just couldn't believe it. And I like the whole whatever Onink team at the same time. Yeah, it was crazy because to me, Heikki's a pioneer and a legend in the sport. And I think it must have been. I think it was year 2010 or 2009 maybe, when he got clipped, and that was like still his prime. He was filming video parts with Mac Dog and stuff. I just couldn't believe he got clipped.
Yeah,
and that kind of like created a little like to be honest, I really dislike Burton just because of that kind of stuff.
Seems like they make a lot of decisions that seem questionable with cutting people, and I've heard people working there, like even employees, not just like the riders, like employees can, sometimes their jobs are up in the air for different reasons, and they bring people in for a short amount of time and then cut the whole program. And I don't know how their business is running or what the best thing is for them, but it leaves a lot of people wondering, why are they making these decisions, especially with something like Unink or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, they operate under a microscope as kind of the they wear a heavy task of kind of being associated with snowboarding for the masses. So people outside of snowboarding think of snowboarding, they think of Burton. And in the peak times, they've got to run a business and scale up, and then as it contracts, they've got to scale down. And as they're making those decisions, it's to us that are in it, it's very obvious what's going on, and we hear about it. So it's hard. I don't envy them in that way, but it does. And I'm just trying to say that kind of to play the opposite side. Like you said, AJ, they're running a business.
But yeah, it sucks when some of your favorite riders are no longer getting supported, and I imagine that's pretty hard to lose your sponsors.
Yeah, especially if you ride for Burton, because then it's like you got the boards, you got the bindings, you got the boots, you got the clothing. When you lose everything at once, it's going to be so fucking tough to get new sponsors like right away and find a new sponsor for everything.
Yeah,
so, but it's a tough place, and just seeing that through Heikki struggling finding a board sponsor and stuff after being so heavily branded on Burton, like he was in Burton probably for like 12 years or 13 years. So it's just not easy, and it just really sucked.
I wonder if it makes it hard going from Burton because they are so big. Like a lot of companies maybe don't want to be involved for, I don't know why, but maybe it's like, oh, they're so associated with that and they've been so big that'd be hard to rebrand them or
Yeah, that's what I always thought. I always thought the same. I thought that was one of the reasons, So it's like even for Heikki, if he was to get a new board sponsor, it would probably take him 4 to 5 years, to actually like let people know that he's actually riding for a different company, because still when I think of Heikki, I think of Burton for some reason because it was such a big part of the
association.
Yeah.
I like the way that Nico did it and came out with that ad that said, "I am a GNU." It was kind of like simple and just a broad statement. It was really cool, but he had the connection to a company that was there for him. Where who knows, one missed phone call and that may not have happened.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've mentioned
he's a good fit on the GNU program. Super hyped for him.
I agree. You've mentioned your knees a couple of times, and that's been an ongoing thing in your career. How far can you bend your knees down?
Well, it's kind of the same. I think the right knee, the last time I had a doctor check, was like 110 degrees, so it's a little bit above 90, but just like being yesterday in the Oktoberfest, went to a roller coaster, I just like, I could barely fit in the roller coaster. My knees were aching so bad because I had to sit there like super weird, or just like, I had to have my knees like in 90, and it gets so painful. And that's why like traveling on the plane or a bus or something, it gets really painful for me sometimes.
Do you wear braces when you snowboard?
No, not anymore. Actually, what happened was pretty funny. I was in Estonia filming, I think 3 years ago, and it was the last spot of the trip, and we had like a case of beer. So basically, like, I think Heikki hit the spot first. So as soon as he got his trick, he started drinking beer, and I was like, hey, I'm going to be the next one to hit it, so I wouldn't have to be the last one. So I hit the spot next. I got my trick and started drinking beers, and then took my brace off, and then for some reason I got super drunk and forgot my brace at the spot. So that was kind of the last time I saw the brace, and haven't used one since. Which is probably a good thing, I think using a brace, if you don't really need it, I think it's not a good thing, because that's kind of like, it's not really good for the muscles when they actually trust the brace instead of your own muscles. It kind of like, yeah.
And the brain, right? You've got, I mean, what if you're dependent on this thing mentally and then you forget it one day? That's fucking with your head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because it was weird because I never skated with the brace. I always used it just for snowboarding. And then that one day when I lost the brace, and then ever since I never used one, so it's been fairly good. I don't feel like I need a brace.
My knees aren't hardly anywhere near in the same realm as yours. I've had a minor PCL tear, and I'm a little taller, 6'2", but flying kills me. Just sitting in that position with certain airlines, my knees sit in the back of the chair in front of me, and it's just brutal. I don't know how you, with as much as you travel, like you mentioned flying. How bad is it really?
It depends. I'm always trying to get the exit row so I can get my legs a bit more straight. But I mean it's pretty painful usually. Like after a long flight, when I have to get up and try to walk a little bit, it kind of sucks. But you kind of get used to it. And what sucks now on my left knee too. I had an MRI on the left knee before last season because it was I felt a little bit weird, but nothing too crazy. And then on the MRI pictures that the doctor told me, like, he can't see the ACL in the picture at all, which means like I don't have ACL on the left knee right now. So maybe one of the days I need to get it fixed, but it's been working semi-okay, so I don't feel like I really need to do anything about it. It just sucks to go into surgery and knowing you can't do anything for half a year, so I'm trying to avoid doing it.
Yeah. What is the rundown on the knees? Like, what all happened in what sequence of events?
So I've had 6 knee surgeries so far, and I tore the ACL 3 times, or had it fixed 3 times, and now apparently like the ACL is fucked again on the left knee. Which is okay.
Are you doing a cadaver or patella tendon or something different?
The patella. Yeah. Okay. I did that once, and then it's I think from the back of the thigh, there's also like you can get one of the ligaments from there too. as a replacement. So I always use just the parts from my own body. Yeah, so 3 ACLs, 2 meniscus, and then it's also now I have like a pretty crazy cartilage problem on the right knee. There's these like little floating pieces of cartilage and bone that just kind of like, just float on the knee, and sometimes it gets stuck and it's really painful. So I got those removed already a couple times. They found like 5 or 6 pieces of this like little bone things. And I can still feel them sometimes too. There's still some pieces left, but I can feel it through the skin. And if it goes in a bad place, I can like just move it with my finger and get it out of there, like through the skin, even if it's inside the knee.
Like little BBs floating around or something.
Yeah. I don't really know, but it's like, it's just like a little piece of bone. They're just like circling around the knee somewhere, and sometimes it gets stuck in a bad place. But yeah, it's weird because at first I didn't know what it was, and I was kind of freaking out because I could actually feel it. And then I went to a doctor, and he told me it's not really like that, it's not that serious, but if it like really disturbs you, you should just get it removed. But that happens sometimes when I'm skating and doing a kickflip. It just really hurts my knee, and then my knee gets stuck, and then I just fucking move the piece with my finger, and then I'm all good to go again.
You've been through all these surgeries, and you've mentioned that you've used painkillers at different points in time. Have you ever had an issue with painkillers? Over here, it's an epidemic. People get addicted to them all day long, depending on which ones they're using.
Yeah, I never had a problem, but I still eat painkillers like just when I go shooting, which equals being maybe like, let's say 40 days a year, which is not too bad. And it's not like I'm eating 40 days straight, because I could have, let's say, 2 weeks off when I'm just like skateboarding or snowboarding by myself and not really, don't really have to perform. But when I actually have to perform and try to get something gnarly on video, then I feel better eating painkillers. It just makes me like feel a bit more flexible that I am,
Sure.
When it kind of really relieves the pain a little bit. But I'm trying to avoid eating painkillers. So the last painkiller I ate was the last snowboarding trip in May, so it's been like 3 months or whatever now. So it's not like I'm really addicted or hooked on painkillers. Sometimes I just feel like it gives me like mentally a little bit more strength, I feel like.
Yeah.
It seems hard to me, I don't know, the medical community, like how does one manage pain effectively, and like Nate said, there's a huge epidemic in here with people abusing painkillers, but sometimes people are in so much pain, it's like the only thing they know how to do.
Yeah.
We had someone ask, Michael Venville asked, because he had knee problems, and any tips you had on keeping things stronger. I mean, do you still exercise and do like physical therapy for your knees?
No, not really. I usually before the season starts, I try to hit the gym for a month or two, but I'm just kind of just doing a lot of sports in general. Like I play a lot of squash, and then I go swimming and cycling and skating. Just staying active. I think that's just the best thing for the knees, anyways. Just trying to have the muscles as strong as on point as possible around the knees, the calves and the thighs and all those muscles. If they're strong, you don't really even need the ACL, I guess, which is in my case right now, like the left knee, even the ACL is blown, I still feel semi-normal, which is good.
Yeah, I think a lot of American footballers play full seasons without their ACLs, just build up the muscles around it. What is squash? It's like a racket game, right?
Yeah, I guess in the US it's kind of like racquetball, but it's a little bit different rules. But it's kind of like you kind of play in this glass box or whatever. It's super fun. It's one of the fastest sports in the world, and one of the most exhausting ones, I guess. Like it's super fun. I play maybe like 2 or 3 times a week with my buddies. It's a really good workout. I feel like if I go play squash, then that means I can eat whatever I want, pizza and burgers all the time. I just trying to stay active.
Is that like the more you work out, the more like, okay, I can eat whatever?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then I don't have to think about what I put in my mouth. That I can eat candy and drink soda and all this stuff. I probably have the the unhealthiest diet of all the pro athletes in the world.
What's your favorite fast food restaurant?
Well, it would have to be In-N-Out Burger. It just sucks we don't have that in Finland. But that's always the first thing when I fly to LA. That my agent lives in San Diego, and he usually picks me up from the airport. That the first stop we always do is In-N-Out, straight from the airplane.
What do you get?
It's just the meal number one, I guess. It's double. But I usually don't go crazy with the animal style stuff. I think it gets kind of nasty with the melted cheese and
sauce.
Yeah, the sauce on that's kind of too heavy.
Who has better fast food? Like Finland or America, somewhere else in Europe?
It's definitely U.S. I like American food anyways. I think, just going in California, all the Mexican restaurants, not, like Wahoo's or whatever. I think all that kind of stuff, like it's fast food, but it's still, I think, definitely way more fresh than McDonald's, for example, so I definitely like to eat that kind of places.
I noticed in your documentary, this stood out to me because I'm struggling to become a surfer. You mentioned that you felt like surfing was challenging and that you were in the wrong area all the time. Have you been doing any more surfing? Are you interested in doing more? Maybe elaborate a little bit on your surfing experience.
Yeah, like I think my problem is, like you can't surf in Finland, so I would always have to like really like make the effort to go surf, and to actually being able to learn how to surf, I feel like I would have to commit like 1 month or 2 months straight. And I'm not really willing to put that time because I enjoy skateboarding so much over the summers anyways. So I always end up just going surfing like maybe once or twice a year. And that's kind of like when I'm always starting from the zero again, I feel like I never just really learned it. I'm always surfing with those like really big, like foam boards and stuff. And I can't turn. I can kind of catch the wave sometimes, and then I can just ride the white water back to the beach, but it's not really, it doesn't make really surfing that much fun when you can't turn and actually ride the wave.
Right. Have you had a moment where you felt like, oh, wow, this is it. I see why everybody's into this.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Just a few times, just like a really small, mellow wave, and I could actually ride the wave for a little bit, even just for a few seconds. And it was insane. That was super fun. So like, I think maybe in a year or two, I'll definitely try to surf a bit more. I got some friends, Heikki and Lauri, and those guys are really into surfing and they're super good, so maybe they're willing to put in the time and actually teach me a little bit so I would actually learn.
Have you thought about relocating to California so you can surf and have In-N-Out all you want?
Yeah, that would be sick. I just hate the traffic in LA.
Yeah,
I think
right.
Yeah, and I think I mean, Finland is a perfect place to live. I mean, if we had In-N-Out and surfing here, this would be even better. But I'm not willing to move out of Finland just because of surfing.
That's a good market opportunity, man. You're an entrepreneur. Open up a wave pool and an In-N-Out burger right next to it.
Oh, that would be sick. That would be the best.
Since we're talking about the ocean and diet, what are your thoughts on fish for food?
Oh, fish. I hate the fish. I can't. Like, I mean, I give it a try maybe like once a year. I'm trying eat tuna or whatever, just like see if I would like it now. But something about the texture and just the taste, I can't. Anything from the sea, I just can't. I can't figure it out, so I hate it.
Even like a breaded fish stick?
Yeah, still no good. Yeah, can't do it.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's super weird. Everybody always tells me, it's like, why you don't eat fish? You're from Finland. I'm always trying to tell people, it's not really like where you're from. If you just don't like something, you don't like something, But it's a pretty traditional Finnish food. It's eating fish, So it kind of sucks. I think it'll make my life easier if I ate fish. Yeah,
just socially, you wouldn't have to have those weird conversations.
Yeah, exactly. And I always tell people I'm allergic, even I'm not, it just saves the hassle of explaining people why I don't eat fish.
People always want to know about like what you're eating. Like people always want to explain yourself. Oh, you don't like this food? Well, you have to explain to me why you don't like it or why you're not going to eat it. Like mind your own business.
Exactly. I hate that shit.
Yeah, it's weird. Like people become like nutritionists and stuff when they're like, "Oh, you're not eating. Well, you should. It's good, Who knows? Like people diet is such a like, it's taste and it's like like even like allergies and stuff. So who knows why people have good reasons, or you just don't like it. Could be a good enough reason.
Yeah. I was like, when I was younger, I was kind of afraid of the fish, and I always thought fish are super ugly and stuff, and that was one of the reasons why I didn't eat them in the first place. But now, since I'm a little bit more grown up, I've given it a chance, and I've tried eating fish, all like different kinds of fish, but I just don't like it. I can't figure it out. Like for sure, if I was on a deserted island, and I was about to die, I would eat a fish, of course.
Yeah.
But it's like
Right.
I'm not really enjoying the taste.
So this question
that's always a scenario.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
what if you're on a deserted island? Like, how many people end up on deserted islands all the time? Like, how often does this come up? People are
Yeah.
like, something to think about. All right, would you eat it then?
I definitely would. I would have to.
Yeah.
So this question is kind of out of left field, and it's something that I saw in the documentary, and I was wondering if by chance you were into rock climbing at all. I saw some bouldering mats under your ping pong table.
Oh, huh. That must have been were we playing in Bittner's garage probably, because he's
that
really
was
into rock
Bittner's
climbing.
house. Okay, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, because I never tried. It looks pretty heavy. I got some friends that do it. Actually, would be stoked to go and try once.
Yeah, if you're ever out here during
pretty.
during the summer, spring, or fall, then go climbing with Bittner for sure. Like I said,
Yeah.
it was kind of a reach. I just noticed it. I was into climbing for many years. It's been a couple months since I've been to the climbing gym, but I saw these stacks of bouldering mats underneath the ping pong table. I didn't realize that was Bittner's house. I thought it was your garage.
Yeah. I think Bittner, like when we were staying at his place for almost 2 weeks, I think he went maybe like every other day. He would just go on the climbing gym and work out. He's in the shape of his life. I remember when Bittner still used to be a pro snowboarder. I feel like he wasn't as fit as he is now. He's the new Skullcandy team manager these days.
Yeah,
He's a sick dude.
Climbing will do it for you for sure.
Yeah.
So we kind of mentioned that you're an entrepreneur earlier and talked about being thrifty. Did you know throughout your snowboarding career that you would go on to start some businesses? When was the first idea for jumping in and doing a business?
Yeah, I don't think I ever thought about starting a business, but I just ended up having all these friends around me that had cool ideas, and then they wanted me to be part of their ideas. So the first business we started was, I think, maybe 2010. We started doing this application for locating skateboard and snowboard spots. It was called Spot Digger, and that was the thing we created 5 years ago. And then a couple years after, we started the Black Eye lens company for making fisheye lenses for smartphones, and that's been running for 3 years now. So those are a couple businesses that I've been working with. Pretty interesting stuff. I feel like you learn a lot when you do stuff like that, and you kind of just see how the business works. Like I feel like I understand even better like how the snowboard companies operate now, since I've been running my own business.
Does it help you with promoting the snowboard companies that support you on like social media? I feel like you do a really good job of that, and I feel like someone that's been around for as long as you've been around, like that predates all that, could be like, oh, why do I need to do this? Like this isn't what I used to do, but you seem like you've adapted super well and are a really good spokesperson for those companies.
Yeah. I mean, just the way you look at social media too is like, I feel like if you look at the Night Show team, for example, like all the riders on the team are freaking amazing, so it's kind of, there's only few ways how you can separate yourself from the other riders, and it's like social media is super important these days. So if you do a better job in social media, that would maybe just pumps up your scores, kind of compared to the other guys, for example. So I think it's like it's almost as important as snowboarding these days is the social media and the presence you have on, and then how you interact with your fans and stuff. And I always just think about the scenario if when I was a kid, and I could have been like texting or sending messages to like Wayne Gretzky, for example, because I love hockey, and he was my biggest idol. Just getting a text back from him would have been insane, and if I'm able to do something like that to the kids or whoever looks up to my snowboarding, and I can actually talk to them and make their day. You know, I think it's a fucking coolest thing to do. You know, if I get to inspire people, so I think it's just rad. It just brings the fans so much closer to the actual to the riders and the athletes or whatever. You know, I think social media is a great tool.
It sounds like you approach
That's
it
so
from.
sick.
Sorry, AJ. It sounds like you approach it from two angles. One, just authentic connection and building relationship with your fans, and two, competing with other people that are out there doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's definitely like a couple sides of it, you know. And I think also for social media, it's the only media where you're actually creating your own image, and you can make yourself look like the way you want to make yourself look like. You know, it's like all the other medias are kind of, they can write whatever they want and publish whatever photos they want of you, you know. So it's everything is in your own hands, you know. So you can actually like tell the people that follow you or are interested in what you're doing, you can give them the actual you know. And I think that's super important.
It's funny you mentioned how much you love hockey. We had someone say, Nick Apicella said that watching your part in Picture This was the reason that he quit hockey and started snowboarding more.
Not crazy.
And and he wanted to ask, essentially, you know, you had such a long career. Is there anything you wish you did differently? Like stop contests or kept doing them or traveled somewhere sooner, you know?
I don't feel like I really have any regrets, you know. It's like, of course, you know, I would be hoping my knees were in better shape, but at the same time, I feel like snowboarding has given me way more than it actually has taken, you know. So it's like I wouldn't change a day. And even sometimes getting injured and getting hurt, it could be a really actual motivation to like come back and you know, it's like you start appreciating stuff way more. When you're hurt, you can't like do the things you love for a half a year. That gives you more perspective, you know. First you can't even walk, and then you start appreciating when you can walk, and then you can start cycling, and that's already the greatest thing in the world. And then after a couple of months you can start skating, and then you can start snowboarding, and you can start running, which is kind of, I think a lot of times I did, and then a lot of people do, just take stuff for granted, you know. They don't really appreciate it till they lose it, you know. So I think sometimes getting injured and being forced to be away of the things you love, it gives you like good motivation to come back stronger.
I feel like it's good to, not even if you're hurt, just to step away from those things occasionally, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're hyped, and so you don't get burnt, you get excited again. It's like, oh man, I missed this. I should do it some more.
Yeah, and that's why I always like in the summers. I used to, when I was younger, I would always go to Mount Hood or somewhere to ride over the summer. But now I'm always trying to have like long summer breaks so I stay as excited as possible, like during the whole winter, just to film and ride.
Yeah,
I feel like older I get, the more summer I need.
Yeah, I mean, it's the worst feeling to be like, dude, I don't want to do this. I'm over it. Like,
yeah,
you know, you start like, oh, I'm cold, I'm wet, this sucks. But if you go into it with excitement and like, oh man, I forgot what that's like, I want to do it some more.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of the guys that actually compete these days, because they snowboard 365 days a year. I think it's like the worst scenario would be like in December, you would feel like you already burned out, you know. So I'm trying to avoid this kind of a situation. You know? That's why I usually start riding like mid-November, and then, you know, I ride till May or whatever, you know, and that's a perfect time. You know, you have enough time to film footage you want to, and you still get to ride 5 months. It's super nice. And that's kind of like how the winter in Finland is anyways. You couldn't even ride longer than that.
It seems funny you mentioned that. It seems like not only are they riding a lot, like every day, but they're so focused on one thing. I kind of feel like you're one of the last people that, you know, you won the X Games slopestyle, and like you were still filming sick video parts and pursuing different avenues of snowboarding, where like I don't know if a lot of those dudes that are doing the big contests are focusing on filming or focusing on like doing different things in snowboarding?
Yeah, I think it gets super tough these days to be able to like stay on the top of both of the games. When I was still competing and the X Games, they could actually, I think half of the riders in the field were invited to the contest just because of their video parts, so they were not all just contest riders, so actually being able to podium in the past and the X Games was easier than it is these days, of course, because like, we would just, even when I won it, like I think those were the first times I was jumping that whole season. I was just filming handrails, and straight from the handrails, I just flew to X Games and rode the course, and I was petrified. I thought the jumps were huge at first when you start hitting. I mean, you're like, because like like if you haven't jumped for like half a year and then you just go straight to a contest like that, you're just kind of like, of course it's good. We had like 3 practice days before the contest, then you get used to the jumping and actually getting some air, so it's like gets easier and easier. But I always remember the first jumps. You're like, holy shit, I didn't remember these jumps are that big, and they're so close to each other too, like you don't really have time to break in between. It's super hectic. So it's always kind of like coming from shooting handrails in north of Finland in the dark, and then flying to Colorado, and then you have to start sending in on the booters against all the best rider in the world. It's not the easiest thing to do.
Contest,
and definitely not the most fun. I think one of the reasons why I didn't want to compete anyways these days, I was kind of, since I was already injured quite a bit, I kind of like didn't want to be in the place when it's like super shitty conditions and fucking windy or foggy out, and then there's someone just like pushing you out of the gate and telling you have to jump because of otherwise you're gonna mess up the TV schedules. I didn't want to be that guy getting injured just because of some asshole like fucking pushing me out of the gate.
You just answered my question. I was going to ask, is it contests or video parts that you're most proud of?
It's definitely video parts. I mean, contest is, it's so funny because like when I talk to people, they, it's like if they ask me what I've done in snowboarding and it's always that they think that the biggest achievement is always the X Games victory. But to my personal, I don't really care about it that much. I think it's definitely a cool thing to have, but at the same time, I think that the video parts are always the things that I had the most weight on. That's always going into a new season. I always wanted to like film as good of a video part as possible, and that's definitely the stuff that I'm the most proud of. I could still, like, in 50 years, I could still go back and watch these video parts and be stoked on the stuff that I ended up doing that season, and it brings so many memories and so many different people that I got to film with and got to know, filmers and photogs and like all the cool trips. Just looking back that the X Games run or whatever, it's just like one day, but the filming a video part is like 5 months of work. It's way more achieving when you actually see the final product.
When do you start thinking about your next video part? Is it after the video's out and there's been a premiere, or is it still just kind of like always ongoing? You're looking at the spot, thinking about what you're going to do there next time.
Yeah, it's always kind of an ongoing process, but it's always like how I like to think. Always filming a video part, you kind of always give all you got, and then you feel like it's going to be harder to like do anything better next season. But when you see all these movies coming out and you see other people's parts and you get new ideas, and then you start looking at spots a bit different again, and then you start thinking about the spots that you have hit in the past. If you have some new tricks in your mind, you could do on them and stuff. So it's kind of an ongoing process, but usually when it starts getting towards fall and almost winter, that's when you actually start, like really figuring out stuff like what to do next. And I always have this like little bucket list on my computer of tricks and spots that I kind of want to hit. But like last season was kind of the first season when I didn't do it because I wasn't filming video parts anyways. I was just going on trips randomly with people and then, just going more with the flow. Wasn't really stressing about getting footage,
Has there ever been a spot in a trick that got away, or maybe one that you did that you felt like, oh, that wasn't as good as I thought it would be?
Yeah, it's actually, for example, in the closing shot in Ender, that the Swedes board slide double underflip, I was trying to do that trick and a year before, or I didn't even almost get to try it. There's like, we found a spot that was kind of a similar type of kind of like a monument or a statue, and it's kind of like this kind of cannonball, like pole jump, like shooting out. But just I did a couple of switchboard slides, underflips, just to get feel of it, like how much airtime you get and stuff. And then I just realized it's like the airtime is not enough, so that kind of like, that trick started haunting me a lot, because I really wanted to do it. So the next season I ended up finding a spot actually through that application that me and my buddies built. Someone uploaded a picture of this spot, and I think it was 5 hours from Helsinki, and then I just ended up driving there and got the trick second try. So I always have this, like, either I have a spot that I really want to hit, or I have this like trick that I really want to do, and then I'm trying to find a spot that I could do it on. It's like it goes two different ways.
And that was basically like a new trick, right? When you haven't done something before, how long do you spend like going over it in your mind before you do it?
Yeah, well, even for that trick, I already had been thinking about it for a year and a half, because it just didn't find a right location to do it on. But since I had already been doing like the switch boards, like underflips, I just figured it's just more airtime you have, and just one more flip, and it should be doable. And that's how it ended up being. It actually was a little bit easier than I expected, or maybe I got lucky too, because we built this like tiny landing. It's like so funny how we built the spots. It's like I look at the spot, I'm like, okay, I think the landing should be here, and then we just like kind of like just shovel this pile of snow, like probably almost like 10 meters away from the obstacle, because I figured that was going to be like the maybe like the air time and how high and how long I'm going to shoot off the obstacle. And then it ended up being at the right place. So it's kind of almost like rocket science, trying to build that kind of shit sometimes.
You saying that you thought about it for a year was just eye-opening to me, because personally, I most of the time I don't think about a trick until I'm in front of whatever the thing is in the park that I'm going to hit. I guess if I want to improve, I need to really take it more seriously and think about these things.
Yeah, there's definitely riders that don't think about stuff too much. Heikki, for example, he just usually goes to a spot. He's like, I don't know what to do on this, and I always need to have a solid plan. If I go somewhere, I already have to know like which trick I'm going to do. I can't just go to a spot and start like speculating at the spot, like which trick should I get. So I like to, like, let's say I'm going to go hit a spot tomorrow in Helsinki. I would go and drive to the spot today and just go look at it for like 20 minutes and think about it, and then sleep the night, and can kind of get it soaked in. And then the next day I would go hit it and get the trick usually. And that's how I always work. I have to go there and kind of visualize everything before I go do it.
How many tries does it usually take you to get a trick?
Well, it definitely depends on the. Depends on the spot or a trick. But I think I'm trying to think what happened like last season, like spots, for example. I would say usually something between. It's funny because like a lot of times, like usually like riskier and bigger the tricks are, usually those are the easiest ones to get, because it's kind of like you just have to kind of send it. But if like smaller stuff and more technical stuff usually takes the longest, like gapping into big rails or whatever, like 270s, or like flipping over roof gaps or 1-foots and stuff. You don't really have room for error, so you kind of have to give your best every try, and those tricks usually come pretty quick. So I would say something between 5 to 10 tries. But if it gets like super technical, then it could take me like maybe even a couple hours to get some stuff. But what I've realized, older I get, like less technical tricks I'm doing these days. It's always kind of like bigger and faster, like getting it out of the way a little bit quicker, I guess. I'm not really willing to put in the time to get like there's so many good rail riders these days anyways, and doing something like crazy technical and on a small rail. I think if I would spend fucking 5 hours trying to get something like that, but still, there's so many good riders that no one would care anyways. So I think I'd rather just hit something big and that looks crazy and gnarly.
I don't know. I feel like the rails that you hit and have been hitting and for so long have been like huge and not like you don't see that very often, you know.
Yeah, I think that was always kind of my approach, since I wasn't like the most technical rider, you know. So I was always just like, I had these basic tricks on lock, you know. I could do back to 70s and front boards and back flips and all this kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So since I had those tricks on lock, I would always just trying to find the biggest and the gnarliest spot to do it on.
You were one of the first people to incorporate a winch into the street. Where did you get the idea and the inspiration for that?
I think it was a photog that I've been working with the past 10 years, Bossy Solomon, and he's a crazy engineer dude, and he built one, and and that's where it all started. I think he had seen Kurt Heine already had built one before, and Bossy knows Kurt, you know. He probably asked some tips how to build one and stuff, and I think maybe Dan Breezy might have been like the first one to have actually a winch, and then I think probably the one we had was one of the second ones or something. But it definitely opened a lot of new doors in the city to be able to hit some fun and cool stuff.
Do you have any tips for building one? Jordan Butler wanted to know. He wants to build a winch.
I don't have any tips. I'm the worst guy at building anything or fixing anything. You know, maybe we could ask for the drawings from Pazzi if he really wants them. But even the Pazzi's winch is super heavy. I think I've seen some winches that are way lighter, probably made out of aluminum or something. But like the one he has, it's like made out of steel. He needs fucking 4 people to carry it. You know, it's a pain in the ass sometimes, but it works. It runs super smooth and it goes super fast. You know, so it's a good winch to have.
Yeah, it must be tough because you want to be able to move it, you know, in and out of places, but it's also like something, it kind of needs to be weighed down as well because it's has so much torque, you know. You don't want to move when you're using it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're always trying to like make a little hole or whatever, like just kind of like sinking in the snow somehow so it doesn't move when you're actually like pulling people in.
It's interesting that it was your photographer that developed that for you. And we've talked about the relationship between snowboarders and filmers on some other episodes, and how, you know, they can be kind of like almost part of the process, right? And it sounds like you have a similar relationship with your photographer, where he's kind of like egging you on, and you guys are very much working together when you're filming stuff in the street.
Yeah, for sure. It's always like even Pazzi, he's scouting for spots, and he's like showing me pictures sometimes, and what I do too is like when I find a spot, you know, like one of the first things that I always think is like if it's gonna look good on photos for Pazzi, you know, because I want it to be good for him too. Like he has helped me out a lot. He has this big van, you know, he has all that he pretty much carries my snowboards, and he has the shovels and the waters and the winch and everything in his car. He has the full setup. It's so easy and nice. So actually working with him.
For a golf analogy, he's kind of like your caddy.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's also like the same with like when JP Walker comes to Finland, you know, he always calls up Pazzi. Like he's just the best dude to work with, you know. He's super easy and fast setting up his flashes, and then he always like normally filmers of photogs, they don't really want to help shoveling, but Pazzi's all about it too. Like he just puts his flashes super quick, and then he starts shoveling and helping out, and he's never on the way, you know. He's like always ready, because there's a lot of photogs that are never ready, you know. It always like between tries they just run to the flashes and try to set them up differently and stuff, and they never get the photo. But Pazzi always gets the photo on first try. So working with him, it's been a pleasure.
That's rad. I want to backpedal a little bit to the conversation we were having earlier about social media, and the fact that you had an email address in 1999 makes me think that you're in some way tuned in to what's going on with the internet, more so than other people. You know, looking at what you've done professionally and the decisions you've made as far as where to put your content, you know, as other media companies in the snowboarding industry are having trouble because of social media, and filmers are basically going out of business. You went the complete opposite way and kind of became a media outlet You went direct online with multiple series. What do you think kind of gave you the clarity to make that call at that time?
Yeah, it was kind of like, since MacDog wasn't happening anymore, I think 2008 was the last movie they made, Double Decade, and then the year after I got the chance to film a TV show called Tracking Arrow with Oakley for Fuel TV, and after that came out, it was kind of like had to make a decision, like what to film and who to film for next. And I was talking with Heikki, and Heikki had been filming for People. And I kind of asked around some people, like some guys, what they thought about the film, and pretty much I would say 80% of the people that I talked to hadn't seen the film. I was like, fuck, like why would I film for something that people don't even get to see? So that's when me and Heikki decided, let's just do something together and put it online right away, instead of, because like I feel like if you film for a movie and you're one out of the 16 guys, you're just kind of helping the video production to grow, but you're not really helping yourself. So we're like, fuck, like let's just do something together, so we are going to benefit more out of it, because like we get the most FaceTime apparently, since we're the two main stars of the show. So we just called up Transworld and asked if they were interested on doing something with us, and then we just set up Cooking with Gas, and we ended up doing it for 3 seasons. And it was pretty funny. I remember talking with Transworld afterwards, and Nick Hamilton, he told me, when I first hit him up about doing the show for them, he's like, yeah, like he thought it was going to be some B grade shit that they'll just post, but after the first episodes, he really understood. It's like, okay, these guys are serious and trying to make good stuff. And I think that the first season of Cooking with Gas ended up being pretty good.
And you did something there that I'm often critical of snowboard videos for not doing, is you captured the behind the scenes well, and kind of the good-natured fun that for me snowboarding is also associated with. Yeah,
that's always the hardest part, is there's so much fun stuff happening on the trips, and then so much personalities that you don't really see between the tricks and the videos, so actually being able to make a webisode when you're not too tied in on that 3 or 4 minute slot with that one song, you could actually showcase more of the personalities of the riders, so I think that gave us a bit more freedom and flexibility to do that on the webisode. So I think that was a good call to kind of get our names and personalities more out there. Plus we would get it out for everybody to see for free immediately, like already throughout the season, so we could actually inspire people already in January and February, and they wouldn't have to wait all the way to fall to be able to see the film, and then they just see 3 minutes of footage,
Yeah. So we had some more listener questions. AJ, I don't know if you want to tee a couple up. I've got a couple on hand here too. I'll just jump into one from my buddy David Z. He wants to know about your top sheet graphic this year. He says it's a thing of beauty.
Oh yeah, it's the Northern Lights theme. I always like for the graphics, I kind of always wanted to have something personal, I guess, and like you always has to tell some sort of a story. Northern Lights are pretty common if you go northern Finland, and I've seen a bunch of Northern Lights in my life, so I figured will be time to do, instead of like doing another cartoonish graphic, I wanted to do something like more classy looking, and then came up with the Northern Lights theme. And then Paul Brown, who's the Nitro designer, he liked the idea, and then we just started looking for pictures and like inspirational pictures, like what could be cool and stuff. And then that's how it all came out. And the board is in the stores now, and I'm definitely one of the boards that I'm most proud of graphic wise. I'm stoked how it came out.
Very cool. It's a great picture. We'll put a picture of it in the show notes. So my buddy Josh Zirkle wants to know about your spread in Gentleman's Quarterly magazine.
Oh, okay, yeah. Is talking about that? Yeah, I don't know. Just this Finnish fashion magazine, which is, I guess, basically for girls, but they picked few guys from Helsinki that they thought were the most stylish, and for some reason they put me in that article. I don't know why, because I don't really consider myself stylish, and everything that I wear, it's already sent to my house in a box. It's not like I go shopping and trying to look stylish. So that was pretty funny.
Wait, how is it sent to your house in a box? Just from your sponsors?
Yeah, from my sponsors. Like the actual last time I bought clothing was probably 20 years ago.
Oh wow!
So it's been
Living
pretty
the
nice.
life.
Yeah, living the life. Yeah, but it's gonna be shocking when I'm done snowboarding, when I have to go to the store and actually buy shoes and be like, fuck, these shoes are €100. Can't believe it. And now it's just like, get shoes from DVS and you skate for 2 weeks and then you take a new pair. If I would have to actually pay for that stuff, I don't know if I would probably quit skating then. Nah, I would never quit skating, but it will be kind of a shock, I guess, when you have to start paying for stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean that helps. Like I always think like, oh, I don't want to be involved in any companies really. It's kind of a hassle. And then I'm like, dude, I'm broke. I need to get sponsored because I'm so poor. Like I just need this stuff so I can keep doing what I want to do.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best. I still get super hyped on like free stuff when I get boxes and stuff. It's still the same. When I was a kid, it's the best feeling. Just having all these new skateboards and shoes and snowboards and stuff. I still get super excited.
I think a lot of companies, I'd rather buy it. Like if I could afford it, I'd rather, think like, oh, if I could just give them money, I'd be more hyped, for the business to do better. Like if it's a company I really like, but then I'm like, dude, I'm broke. I just need to give it to me.
Yeah, exactly. And especially now since the skate and snow industry is not doing that well, definitely supporting the brands will be pretty important instead of just like supporting Nike or Adidas and companies like this that are so wealthy anyways.
Yeah, I'd rather spend my money on a company that's like, one guy that snowboards and skates all the time is just trying to like make something cool.
Yeah, exactly. And actually needs the money.
Yeah. So
I have another listener question. It's from my buddy Ricardo Cato. He's a big road biker. And we touched on this when we were talking about biking closer to the beginning. But his question is a little bit more direct. He says, how has off-season cycling improved your snowboarding?
I don't think it has really necessarily improved my snowboarding, but it definitely has helped me stay healthier and stronger, and just kind of like definitely build up the muscles around the knees. I think it definitely, keeps me healthier. That's kind of like one of the reasons why I like cycling. Just knows it's really good for me.
AJ, did you have any more listener questions that we didn't cover?
I think we kind of went through most of them, or we covered them. So if we didn't ask your question directly, I think we covered it pretty well. So
I'll ask you what my neighbor and buddy Paul Horning always wants me to ask. He wants to hear like more negativity. He's like, I want to find out what pisses people off. So Paul would ask you what pisses you off.
What pisses me off? I don't know. Let me think. I guess I'm really critical about all the stuff that I do, and if something doesn't really go according to the plan, I get usually pretty pissed off. It's like same with skateboarding and snowboarding and stuff. If I have to like keep on trying doing something that I know I could do, and for some reason it doesn't happen, I just get super pissed off. But I'm more pissed off at myself, because I get frustrated. I don't get pissed at people. I usually don't really get pissed at people.
How do you say?
I guess I'm such a perfectionist, so I'm just kind of like everything has to be like just the way I want it to be. Like, I have this vision in my head. It's like this trick should look like this, and then if it doesn't look like that, then I get pissed at myself.
I think I learned how to say fuck in Finnish because
of the movie.
Yeah, I think Vitu is that.
Yeah, Vitu. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I learned some Finnish.
It's a pretty classic Finnish.
That's so
Finnish
funny.
word to say.
So if I ever go there, I know at least one word.
Yeah, that's enough. That's all you need when you come to Finland.
That's so funny.
Hey, Vitu, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You're reading my mind there, AJ. That's what I was going to ask, but you already knew. So I'll ask another question that we oftentimes ask on the podcast is, what is something that most people don't know about you?
What would that be? Let me think. I feel like with all this social media and everything, it just like, I feel like everybody knows everything these days about everybody. So I don't know if I have anything hidden. Oh.
Do you have something you're into that you don't really publicize? Maybe a TV show that you binge out on, or?
Oh yeah. Or maybe the thing is something that if I go swimming, I swim in Speedos. That's pretty gay, but it's kind of like in the swimming halls in Finland, you have to wear Speedos. You're not allowed to wear shorts. And I always go, actually, I go exercising and training when I swim. It's like if I would swim in shorts, it probably wouldn't be that good, but it's definitely pretty gay. I'm trying to like not tell, especially American people. I don't really want to tell them that I swim in the Speedos.
I think you probably just told them.
Yeah, I just told them. Yeah.
Every time I hear Speedo, I think of like European and Greek beaches and then like overweight men that shouldn't be wearing Speedos by my eye, wearing Speedos.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, but the Speedos I have, it's kind of like a little bit cheating. They're kind of like the a little bit longer version. It's not like a full on.
It's like a boxer brief.
Like, yeah, like a boxer. Yeah.
Why is that a rule? That's like mind blowing to me.
I don't know. I think they probably think, if you just go there with the shorts, maybe the people from the swimming hall think you just been wearing those shorts like on normal daily routines too, and then you just jump in the pool and it brings like bacteria or something, or you go to the gym with the same shorts and then you jump in the pool. I think they just probably think it's just it's not good for the water.
Speedos will be better for your lap times.
Yeah, definitely. Faster. Speedos are faster, man.
That's too funny.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Like, it's kind of, people thought it was dirty. I've heard it in other European countries. It's like, they just think it's kind of dirty. Like shorts can just be worn around, but people don't really wear their Speedos to the grocery store and then go swimming.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never worn Speedos actually. Like anything other than like a board short to go swimming in, or like a wetsuit.
Yeah, you're not really missing out.
But I could cut, if I did laps, I could, go a little faster.
Yeah. That's what I'm always telling people. It's like, could you imagine Michael Phelps swimming in the shorts? Of course he has Speedos. It's if you actually go do something and actually train doing it, Yeah. I mean, you need the right equipment, So I think it's like actually, if you go swim laps, I think Speedos are okay.
That's like road biking. When I injured my knee, I worked at a skateboard and snowboard shop, and the guys would make so much fun of me for wearing spandex. And I was like, dude, these are the best shorts for road biking. It's just the best it's the best thing for it.
Yeah, exactly. I was exactly the same way. Like the first time I put on the spandex like 2 years ago, I looked at myself in the mirror. I'm like, fuck, dude, it's like I looked ridiculous. But now I got so used to it, and I think I wouldn't consider it's cool, but you start spotting all these people when they're road cycling, you start looking out their outfits and stuff. I think it's pretty rad. It's a different scene,
The kit. You got to get a kit.
Yeah, exactly.
So as we start to wind down here, I've always had this idea that there would be, snowboarding went through this like big growth curve and got really popular. And now it's been, as you mentioned before, more challenging for the brands and the shops, and lower participation rates, lower sales. I'm always looking for the next like snowboarding boom. And we talked with Terrier about snow skating. He's obviously big into it, and you've done it a few times. What are your thoughts on snow skating?
I thought it was pretty fun, but to myself, I can't really see myself like getting super into it. I thought it was just fun to like cruise down a couple laps, but then I was ready to switch back to snowboarding. I think it's just compared to skating, it's not like there's not that many tricks you could do on it, because you can't pop the same way and like doing grinds and stuff. It's just with the ski, it's like I don't think snow skating is really gonna get big. I doubt it.
It's too hard, I think, to be really good.
Yeah, exactly. It's like too hard, and it doesn't actually have that many tricks, and it's like, it's hard to say. Like Terry is really good at it, but like I think he's definitely putting a lot of time to actually like practice it, and I'm not willing to put that time when I'm on the hill, I rather snowboard. It's more fun to me than snow skating.
It seems like it makes more sense in a city, like not the snow skates with like the ski on it, but just the decks.
Yeah,
It seems
exactly.
like in a snowy city, like a small skate park or whatever, that you could mess around on, or like really like on smaller features. I mean, some of the snow skate videos I've seen are so gnarly, like
it's so crazy.
Yeah, but they're all the flip tricks and like rails and stuff. They're doing it just on like the decks. Not really on a hill.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think that looks pretty. Yeah, exactly. That looks pretty fun. I could definitely picture myself like going into a skate park and dropping in the mini ramp with the deck like that. It could be pretty fun to do a stall or something. But just going on the resort and cruising down with the snow skate with the ski on it, it's like it gets boring after a couple laps.
I was hoping you'd tell me that would be like the next big thing, and I could buy like a bunch of stock in snow skate companies.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I don't know if anything's gonna be, anything that's gonna be huge like that. I mean, I don't know if snowboarding is gonna go through that again, but who knows? Who cares? Just go snowboarding.
I agree. Just have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So this has been an honor and so much fun to talk with you. I'll just ask one final question as we kind of wrap up here. With Ender, it's this very clear statement that this is the end of the video career, and you kind of open it up by saying, I'm going to go on to make churns. What can we expect from you in the future?
I got few projects in my mind that I still want to do. Actually, for next season, I have a project coming up with Pablo Films, who was the production company behind Ender and Red Bull Media House. It's going to be like just a 1 week shoot, and we're putting out this. I can't tell too much about it, but we're like going to release it straight away after we have filmed it. But that's going to be one of the biggest projects for next season. But like I think, the next seasons or so, I just kind of don't really want to stress about stuff. I want to go more with the flow. And if there's a cool trip that I get invited on, of course I want to go, and I still want to film stuff, but I don't want to be like stuck in a mindset that I have to get 25 tricks to fulfill a song, to get a video part in a movie that no one watches anymore. It's like, I'd rather just like go and have fun and then ride on my own terms and then hit a spot if I feel like it. It was really refreshing last year, like going on trips with Nitro, going in a place without a solid plan. You just go there, and then, some spots you just sit down and watch other people hit it. You don't feel like it. And then the next day you actually find a spot you want to hit, like I think that the past years I've been just organized way too much and being just too organized, so it kind of takes the fun out of snowboarding too, when you just have everything planned out so well, so it was actually kind of just cool going on a trip and not being the guy in charge all the time, and just kind of like enjoying more of the trips, and also like, just hitting random obstacles, whatever you would hit or find, instead of just like already planning like a year ahead, like next season I'm going to be hitting these and these and these spots and doing these and these and these tricks. It was fun for a while, but I think it was time for a change, and now it's more fun to snowboard. I get last season, in the past 15 years, was probably like the year when I actually got to ride the most for myself, which was really, really refreshing. And you need days like that to be able to like understand and remember why you fell in love with snowboarding in the first place. If it's only filming and working all the time, kind of forget that, like, why you like snowboarding so much, and you kind of don't appreciate it as much anymore.
Yeah. It sounds like you're giving yourself the permission to continue snowboarding, but just on the terms of what is the most fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, and even last season, filming with Nitro, if I go to a spot, it's not like I'm going to be like, okay, now I kind of, gave myself the permission to not ride well. If I'm going to the spot and I want to hit the spot, of course, I'm trying to get the best possible trick that I have in my bag, on video. It's not like I'm scaling down on the tricks or whatever, but it's still like, I think I'm just giving myself the freedom to be like, it's okay to sit back sometimes and watch other people ride. I don't have to be like riding every day or riding every obstacle. I can just kind of pick and choose and do the stuff that I really want to these days.
Love it. Well, this has been awesome. I can't thank you enough.
No, thanks, guys. It was cool.
If you want to scoop up a handmade rack for all your boards, use the code TNSP at rattleracks.com for free shipping. And if you want to get your snowboard boots ready for this year, use the code TNSP at shredsoles.com for 10% off and free shipping through this Monday, also known as Cyber Monday here in the States. For all of your holiday shopping on Amazon, remember to click through the Not Snowboarding Podcast Amazon banner ad located at the notsnowboardingpodcast.com/support. Finally, please take 2 minutes and leave a review of the podcast on whatever platform you use to listen. This hugely helps us out in the rankings and helps more people find the show. Oh, and I also wanted to mention that there's a ton of podcast gear now available on the website. There's hoodies, both pullover and zip-ups, and t-shirts, and even coffee mugs, and the TNSP discount code should work there as well. Until next week, peace and happy Thanksgiving.
Say ya.